This story is a unique one because not only does it involve millions of dollars and one of the rarest cars of all time, but the entire scam was caught on camera without the scammer even knowing it, which I'll show you in just a few moments. The Bugatti Veyron is one of the rarest, most expensive, and fastest street-legal cars in the world, going well over 200 miles per hour. Over a 10-year period, only 450 of them were ever manufactured. 44 of those were made in 2006. Of those 44, one was owned by this man, Andy Lee House. House was said to be one of the first people in the United States to own one. Back in 2009, he was a 34-year-old exotic car dealer and paid $1 million for this prized luxury car. And one sunny day, he decided to take it out for a cruise down an open highway in Galveston, Texas, which is an island city south of Houston, right on the Gulf of Mexico. So he's coasting down the road, driving the speed limit, definitely not pushing the car's top speed of 267 miles per hour. But as he's driving, he takes his eyes off the road just for a quick moment to grab his cell phone. But then when he looks back forward towards the road again, there's this low-flying pelican coming right at him. So he's got about half a second to decide whether he wants to save this bird or say, F the bird, I care more about my own safety and the safety of my million-dollar car. Ultimately, he chose the bird. And so he swerves out of the way, which causes him to lose control of the vehicle and drive straight into the bay, which ran parallel with the highway. So now House is in the water, this beautiful, expensive car is submerged, and to make matters worse, he can't turn off the car's engine because he was getting attacked by swarms of mosquitoes and had to quickly swim away and get out of the water. The car kept running for at least 15 minutes, with the engine just gulping in salt water until it eventually died and was totally destroyed and unsalvageable. When first responders and a tow truck showed up to the scene, House seemed to be taking the whole ordeal rather well. Perhaps he was just thankful that he wasn't hurt in the accident, and after all, the car was insured. In fact, it was insured for $2.2 million, more than twice what he paid for it. An insurance policy House had bought just a few weeks earlier. So House contacts the insurance company and explains the entire story about how this was all caused by that low-flying pelican. His insurance company, Philadelphia Indemnity, of course needs to follow up on this claim. After all, this is a $2 million policy on the line, so they better be damn sure it's genuine. So they send out not just one insurance adjuster, but rather an entire team of insurance investigators to check out his claim. The first thing they do is they travel to the scene of the crash. And one thing that sticks out to them is that there were no skid marks on the road, which was strange because once he swerved out of the way of the pelican, certainly he would have slammed on the brakes to at least try and avoid going in the water, right? They also found it strange that once he entered the water in the car that he wouldn't turn it off, which only required him to push a button and prevent all that salt water from flooding the engine and destroying it forever. His excuse that a swarm of mosquitoes biting him prevented him from saving his million-dollar car just didn't make much sense. The entire scenario was suspicious at the very least. You have this guy who buys a car for $1 million, then buys an insurance policy worth $2.2 million if the car were to be destroyed, and just weeks later, it gets destroyed? Well, the insurance company may have been skeptical about House's story, but they really couldn't prove otherwise. Until one day, the insurance company was sent a YouTube link to a video that would change everything. You see, what Andy House didn't know that fateful day of the accident is that someone was driving next to him on the highway, filming him with their phone. Not spying or anything, just a couple of guys who saw this amazing car and wanted to get it on video, and ended up catching the whole thing in action.
Look at that, dude. That will be mine one day.
What is it?
I'm pretty sure it's a Lambo, dude. Oh, he wrecked. Oh,
shit.
oh shit, oh shit, oh shit.
As you can see from the video, there was no pelican, and it was pretty obvious that House intentionally drove his car into the water, and most likely left it running on purpose in order to completely destroy it and get the full amount of that insurance policy. This was the evidence the insurance company needed, and they rightfully sued Andy Lee House for attempted insurance fraud. House countersued them, demanding that they should pay out the full $2.2 million for the car. Finally, in 2014, after years of battling back and forth, House pleaded guilty and admitted to driving the rare and expensive sports car into the water on purpose in order to collect that insurance money. And in 2015, he was sentenced to a year in prison.